Perfect. All right, guys. So my name is Jose Tapia, and I'm an admission counselor here at St. Mary's University. I'm also a graduate from St. Mary's University, first generation. My family didn't get to go to college, and so it's an honor to be here and getting to share the opportunities that you can pursue at a university level. I got to study communications and music here at the university. Uh, I got to, during my internship, I worked with Telemundo 60 here in San Antonio for about 2 years, working with anchors, working with different commercials. So that was my experience, and I hope that I can just kind of show you a little bit more about St. Mary's today. Okay, so a little bit about the university. We are a 4-year private Catholic liberal arts university. 4 years means that you can get your bachelor's degree here. We also have master programs, we have doctorates, and we are a private institution. The difference between private and public is we are internally funded, and we also are a smaller institution, so classes will be smaller, and I'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. We are a Catholic institution. It's not a requirement to come and be Catholic. 60% of our students are, but it's not a requirement to join the university. And then also we are a liberal arts institution, which means that we have different curriculum which spans from different areas: philosophy, ethics, social justice. And we also focus a lot on what's called soft skills. So we have different interviewers who come to the university and get to ask us questions about what we do. So that way, whenever it comes to applying for jobs, we're able to articulate efficiently what we do and what we have done here at the university. We're also the first Catholic university in Texas and Southwest in the United States. So we've been around since 1852, which is a pretty long time. And total enrollment, with including our law students, since we do have a law school, and also our graduate students, overall, we have about 3,700 students on campus. And just in the undergrad level, we have about 2,300. Okay, so now a little bit about the university. Like I mentioned before, we are a smaller institution, so we do have an 11-to-1 student to professor ratio. I always tell students this is, it was very impactful in my experience here at the university, just because I really was able to make connections with these awesome professors. Classes averaged about 17 students. Once you start getting into your upper level classes, that number tends to drop a little bit more, just because you start doing your courses specifically to your major. And so some of the STEM majors might continue being a little bit bigger, just because they are more popular here on campus. But usually for the humanities and other majors, they tend to be a little bit smaller once you start getting into the upper level classes. Another thing to know is 94% of our professors do have a PhD degree or a terminal degree, which means they reach the maximum amount of education that they could receive within the specific track of education they were trying to go for. And the other 6%, you might be wondering what they do. They're actually former FBI agents. So they used to be in the FBI, are coming back and teaching class for the forensic science majors. We also have business professionals. We have current and former police officers as well, who come for the criminal justice classes. So usually they're experience-based. So they've been in the field and they come back to teach what they've learned. Also, for those interested in sports, we do have a Division II athletics team. So those who want to do, we have soccer, we have basketball, baseball, volleyball, softball, we have golf, tennis. Those are the different sports that you can receive scholarships for. Another one that's really awesome, we just started, we will be starting in the fall, a esports team. And so you can also receive scholarships for that, something that's coming up pretty soon. We have different games within that esports, which is League of Legends, Overwatch. We have Super Mario Smash Brawl. and then Rocket League is the fourth one. And so students can come into the arena and get to play. We also have that available also for future intramurals. So I'll get into that in a little bit. And also, we do have a 58 to 42% ratio of girls to guys here at the university. So guys out there, if you're looking for a date, we have a pretty good chance of getting one right here. We also have 3 residence halls offered for our incoming freshmen. They all have different styles. We have one specifically where you can have your own room, other ones where you can have roommates. So it's just specifically to the lifestyle that you would like to have. Okay, so now, some traditions here at the university. In the top right corner or your top left, whichever direction you're looking at the screen, you'll see a girl holding a python. That's actually was part of our exotic petting zoo that we had on campus. We had capybaras, llamas, porcupine, and it was just a fun event outside of academics that we got to do. While I was a student, my personal favorite was actually a Ninja Warrior obstacle course. Super awesome. They set it up in the soccer fields, and I got to go through it with my team. Whoever did the least time was the one that won the competition. And so we have different stuff outside of academics. Latin night, we have sometimes we have trips to the basketball game together. So different stuff like that. And those are discounted tickets. So it's really awesome that we get to do that. Also, we do have, we're very focused on community service. So that's one of our bigger aspects of the university. So you'll see in the middle, there's a group in what looks like a Ferris wheel. So they're actually cleaning up Morgan's Wonderland, which is a theme park specifically for kids who have a disability. So they went into that park and they were cleaning it up. And so that was actually part of continuing the heritage, which is an event that happens here on campus. We'll meet on a Saturday morning and we'll just go out into the community, try to give back in whatever way we can. So that's super awesome. Also, on the other corner, you'll see there's a group of people just at what seems like a concert. It's not Coachella. It's actually Oyster Bake, which is one of the bigger events that happens here on campus. And kind of like I mentioned before, we are internally funded. So this is one of the events that happens here that we actually get to fundraise to create funds for scholarships and stations. So we'll host about 60 to 70,000 people on our campus, and it's a massive event. We have chicken on a stick. You'll see that in the bottom picture with a jalapeno on the top. We'll have games, we'll have music, just different things that students can participate in as well. And students who do volunteer actually get in for free. So that's really awesome that we have that available. Also, I know y'all had some questions about intramurals, different clubs that you can join. We have about 70 registered organizations here on campus, different things ranging from Dumbledore's Army, for those interested in Harry Potter. We have Greek life, we have fraternities and sororities, and then we also have service fraternities who go out and do community service together. There's always something for everyone. We have also intramurals. So if you like to make your own team and get to compete within the university, we have that available in different sports. And then the newer ones are dodgeball and esports, which will also be a way that students can compete internally. And you'll see also a couple of people running. That's actually our 5K that we get to run in solidarity with the community. So there's always something to do outside of school. So you get to meet friends, make good memories, all that fun stuff. Okay, so this is specifically for our students interested in business. So our school is actually named after Bill Greehey, who is one of the founders of the Valero gas stations. And the reason that we did that was because Mr. Bill Greehey is actually a former student and alumni from St. Mary's. He graduated from here. And he gives back a lot of donations to help our students improve their education. And so one of the things that, because of that, we actually have been able to become accredited in the AACSB. Only about 5 to 7% of the business schools around the world have this accreditation, and St. Mary's does have one. So, you're getting high quality education from here. And off to the other side, you'll see that there's a couple majors. These are the more popular majors that we have on campus. We have accounting, business management, marketing, social media marketing as well, which is one of the more popular ones nowadays, and finance and risk management. So a couple things that our students get to do here at the university. You'll see that there's a picture of students who went to Google. That was actually a trip that they did. We also been to companies like LinkedIn, Facebook, PayPal, just different stuff like that, where students actually get to go to the headquarters and see what it's like to run the business. They get to interact with business professionals and network. And so it's really great for our students to have that. We also have a $2.4 million portfolio, where students actually have a class where they get to invest real-time money. And so that's something really awesome for our students to actually be able to invest and learn how to invest themselves. Also, we have different presentations from different CEOs that come very often. We have Business Week, where business professionals will have different talks throughout the day where students can stop by and listen in. We also have what's called forum breakfast and forum dinners. We'll invite a CEO from a local company, and we'll have them talk about their company. Sometimes we also have nationwide companies. Just recently, yesterday, we had the CEO from Costco come over. And so we had Damian Johns. We had other presenters who have come in and actually given the presentation. But the best thing out of all is that we'll invite other CEOs who are from our local Bexar County area and surrounding areas, and they'll get to come in, and you'll get to have breakfast or dinner with them. And so it's a really awesome way for us to network and just get our name out there. That way, whenever we come out, we have the opportunity to actually find a position and a job as well. All right, now for our students interested in the science, engineering, technology areas, I do want to start off just with the engineering specifically. We do have 4 specific programs that are ABET accredited, which is the most premier accreditation that an engineering program can receive. We have that in mechanical engineering, industrial, computer, and electrical engineering. And so all of those different ones have that ABET accreditation, which means basically like once you graduate from the program, it's just much easier to get your engineering license. And also, in case there is any lawsuits in the future for having created a certain product, you're actually covered from any lawsuits that could happen. And so that's a protection mechanism that can help with your career. Another thing, computer science, we also have, of course, a traditional computer science, but we also have a different tracks, cybersecurity. We also have video game design. So those are other 2 tracks that you can definitely take with computer science. And our more popular majors, I would say, is biology and biochemistry. The reason for that, and I'll kind of get into that in a little bit, is because we have a very competitive program for the medical school. So I'll get into that right now. So we do have some early acceptance programs that are definitely worth listening to. So the dental early acceptance program, that one specifically for students who want to be dentists. And basically we have a partnership with UT Health here in San Antonio, where students, instead of doing 7 years, they actually get to do 6 years to finish up their doctorate in dental work, which is super awesome. We also have, for those interested in nursing, we have the nursing early acceptance program. And that one's also in partnership with UT Health here in San Antonio. And how it works is that the students will do 3 years at St. Mary's and then 2 years at UT Health, basically graduating with 2 bachelor's degrees, one in biology and one in nursing, basically satisfying the nursing track. Also, for those interested in physical therapy, we do also have partnerships specifically with UT Health as well. And that one is the Health Professions Early Acceptance Program. That one specifically for those interested in physical therapy. It just gives them the opportunity to continue the program over there. Also, those who are not necessarily too interested in doing that much science, but still want to be involved in the medical field, the Masters in Public Health is a program that we offer here in partnership with UT Health as well. And basically, it's a 4+1 year, 1 year program, basically graduating with your master's within 5 years. And also for those interested in the medical field, I definitely advise looking into the Joint Admission Medical Program. That specifically, what it does is it's a very rigorous program, but if you do get accepted, once you graduate from the college that you did your pre-med program, you will be accepted into 9 medical schools within Texas. And that's super awesome, you know, to have that opportunity coming right off the back from college. So definitely worth looking into that. And we also have some other medical programs. We have with SLU, we have the Father Jim St. Louis University Pre-Medical Program. And that one you can get accepted your sophomore year. It's just an early acceptance program into that school. Also, the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine, that's specifically a program that students in their senior year, they can actually apply and get an early acceptance, basically a preliminary letter letting the school know that you've been accepted to either the dental, medical, or pharmacy program. And basically, it's also an early acceptance. So once you graduate, you can automatically go to that school. All right, so now for our College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. This is specifically for those within criminal justice. That's specifically for those who want to be in the police force or also maybe want to do something within law. That's definitely a good track for that. Exercise and sports for those interested in physical therapy. That's specifically in that program, we actually have the doctor for the Spurs, the NBA team here in San Antonio. The doctor for them is actually a St. Mary's graduate. And so we actually have our students actually going and doing some really awesome internships with actual athletes and helping them recuperate from injuries, different stuff like that. Forensic science is actually, we're the only university in San Antonio that offers forensic science at the undergrad level. This is where I mentioned before, we have the FBI agents teaching class. So we'll get into all the great sciences, biology, chemistry, doing DNA testing, blood testing, blood splatters, just all that fun stuff. We also have criminology, also a very popular major within that field. In criminology, I like to explain it in the sense that it's a mixture of psychology and forensic science. And so if you guys seen Criminal Minds, it's very similar to that. It's criminal profiling, abnormal psychology, just getting into those topics, but it also has that chemistry side that students do also get to pursue. It also is a track for those who want to do law school. If you want to get into criminal law, different things like that, that's also a very popular major for that specifically. Also, our psychology department, right now it's actually our 3rd most popular major here on campus. And you'll see a picture to the top, you'll see a couple of students petting a beluga whale. If you've ever been to SeaWorld, we actually have a couple belugas there, and we actually get to go in and do some research with them. And so we'll go into the tanks, record just the different interactions. Specifically, 3 to 4 years ago, there was a baby beluga that was born, and our students have been able to track the different behaviors with the interaction with the mother, just since it's similar to human interaction. That helps us just better understand how mammals get to interact. So that's been very interesting. We also get to do research at a very early stage of your career. And so students get to present their research here locally in San Antonio, but also across the nation. And so some pretty cool research topics. I mean, I seen this one specifically where they were talking about whether guys or girls were better at surviving an apocalypse. Happens to be that girls are better than guys. So sorry guys out there. But yes, different cool stuff like that that we get to do. Just if there's something interesting that you want to research, you can definitely do that. And then now, and lastly, we have political science. This major specifically is very popular for our law students. Just prepare them with the basics of law. And so if there's any students who are interested in that, it does give them the opportunity to do what's called the Nelson Wolf program, which is what I'll get into now. So our School of Law is very popular here in San Antonio. We have about roughly 68% of our judges and lawyers actually come from our law school who are working here in San Antonio. And so we have a pretty good alumni base. But kind of like what I was mentioning, we have the early acceptance admission program, which is the Nelson Wolf program. And that one gives you the opportunity to start taking classes at the law school your senior year. So that helps you finish up within 6 years instead of 7. And so how it works is that your junior year, you'll get ready, you'll practice for the LSAT, and then once you pass the LSAT, your senior year, you can actually start taking classes at our law school. And so that's super awesome. And it also has some GPA requirements. You'll see those on the screen. The higher the GPA, the lower the test will be required. But those are just to give you a kind of rough idea of what automatic admission would look like. Okay, guys. So now for just to give you a perspective, these are all the companies that our students had the opportunity to either work in, do internships in, or have been able to go to graduate school, medical school. So just anything across the board. These are just a few of the many companies that our students have been able to participate in. We have Tesla, the Spurs, SeaWorld, you know, they've been to UT. So different companies, you just kind of see like the different things that our students are doing. All right, guys. So now that you say, Jose, this sounds really awesome. How do I apply to the university? It's actually free to apply to St. Mary's. You can apply through our website, Apply Texas, or the Coalition app. Those are 3 different ways that you can apply. And we would just need your SAT or ACT scores and your high school transcript, and that satisfies the complete application. The essay, resume, or letters of recommendation are completely optional, but if you do want to see if you can get additional scholarships, that sometimes tends to be a very good way for us to identify if you would be a good fit for a specific scholarship. I'll kind of talk about those in a little bit, but definitely optional, but I recommend them. Also, I know Ms. Lomas was asking a little bit about dual credit or AP exams. We do take up to 66 credit hours. That's something to that we take. We have on our website, we have the different courses that we're able to accept from community colleges or dual credit or AP exams. We'll also have the different AP scores that you need in order to transfer that credit specifically. So if you're taking anything like government, history, English, speech, I can go on and on. Those classes usually are the core classes. Usually those are very transferable to St. Mary's. Also, another question was if students are, what we look for in an application. I definitely recommend, you know, if you're right now in an early stage of high school, definitely get involved. You know, try to find some leadership opportunities that you can, whenever you're a senior, you can start doing. Also, if you have the opportunity to volunteer, get involved in that as well. That's something well in an application. We do have a specific scholarship for those students who are involved in volunteering. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely pursue it. Okay, so this is a very important page, definitely worth looking into. These numbers are actually a little bit different, but this is what we call our merit-based scholarship. And so this is based off of your GPA and your test scores. And so this is a scholarship that we automatically give students once they're admitted. So the minimum requirements for St. Mary's are 3.0 GPA and a minimum of a 19 ACT or a 980 SAT. And so you can kind of match yourself in the grid. And we also do super score. So if, let's say you do really good on the math section for a specific test, and then on that same test, you take the reading and then you focus just specifically on reading and you improve that score, we'll actually take the best scores out of both tests from those sections and try to match you with the best scholarship. And that's also for admission purpose, but also for scholarship purpose. Okay. That's okay. So now scholarships. So these are some of the scholarships that you could potentially receive coming in as a freshman. And so the Greenkey Scholars Program, specifically for our business students, this one covers, pays for tuition. It also pays for fees. It pays for an emergence program around the country where we get to visit all those companies around the nation. And it also pays for a study abroad opportunity. So this one is one of the best scholarships I would say we have on campus. Basically satisfies for the majority of tuition and different expenses. We also have the honors program, and kind of like AP classes, these are a little bit more rigorous core classes that we have here. But just off of taking those classes, you get an additional $2,000 every year. Also, the Dean Scholars Program is a stipend specifically for business students. It gives you $5,000 just to study abroad. You can divide it in different trips depending on where you would like to go. But this is specifically for business students, and it gives them the opportunity to do that study abroad trip. Also, the Marinus Leadership Program. This is another scholarship, the one that I was mentioning about volunteer service. So this one focuses mainly on looking at students who are getting involved, who are giving back to the community, who are looking to really improve where they live through different services. It could be also if they volunteer at church, if they volunteer at a community garden, whatever it might be that they're involved in giving back. That's something that we look into. It also has a faith component to it. So they'll do weekend retreats. They'll live in community. So they have a residence hall specifically for the Marinus leaders. But they get to host different events, community service events here. One of them being the Continuing the Heritage, which I mentioned before. Also, the Alumni Scholarship is specifically for those students who know someone that has come to St. Mary's. Doesn't have to be a relative, but it could be as well. In this one, they go in and they refer you for the Alumni Scholarship. Also, I mentioned before, athletic scholarships. Those are offered for our athletes in different sports. We also have a music scholarship. So if you are a musician, I was myself as well, you can get potentially a scholarship for that as well. And the good thing is that you don't have to be a major specifically or a minor in music. You just have to participate in the ensemble. So if you play a string instrument, you can play in the string ensemble. And just off of that, you can receive a pretty decent scholarship. And right now they're ranging from $1,000 to $8,000 scholarships per year. So that's a pretty massive amount of scholarship that you can receive. Also, we do have Army ROTC here on campus, and we also have Air Force ROTC in partnership with UTSA here in San Antonio. The Army ROTC, that one's a scholarship that basically takes care of tuition, fees. It covers a meal plan. It also gives you a monthly stipend. And how this scholarship works is that your freshman year, you're just taking the elective. So that way you can try it out. You can see it for yourself if it would be a good fit before committing. The reason I say committing is because after you graduate from college, having done the ROTC scholarship, you are required to go into service. So you'll do that in different ways, but you are committing yourself to to go into the ROTC. If you're already planning to do that after your college, definitely recommended. You get your schooling paid for, and once you graduate, you would be an officer in the Army or Air Force. And so that's something to look into if that's where you would like to go. Okay, so FAFSA, seniors, if you're watching this, fill it out as soon as possible. The March 1st deadline is coming up pretty soon. So that's one of the priority deadlines. And so that's something that you want to work and for the younger students, I definitely recommend, once it opens up, usually it opens in October of that year that you're a senior. And so just definitely try to get it as soon as possible. Work with your counselor to get that in. All right, so visiting campus is a very important part of trying to find the right fit for your college, the university you want to attend to. So definitely, this is one of the things that I promote for students. Whether it be St. Mary's or another university, try to go visit, try to see if it's a right fit. Specifically here at St. Mary's, we do have some really awesome opportunities. We have weekday visits, of course. We also have an online tour where you can go check out St. Mary's online and just see the different rooms, the engineering labs, just different stuff like that inside St. Mary's. And we also have some Saturday visits. These are specifically by school. So if right now, this weekend, actually, we have the SET open house. That's specifically for our science, engineering, and technology. Open up our campus. You will get to meet professors in that field, students. You'll get to ask them questions, and we'll also get you some food for you and your family. We have that same thing with the College of Arts. That's coming in February 1st. And the same thing, we'll have faculty, students available for you to get to meet. Then Sleeping Bag Weekend. This is actually one of our cooler events. It's only offered for our seniors. So sorry guys for the other ones, but it's something to look forward to. We do have one that just came, that passed by this past weekend. And so what this opportunity gives you is the opportunity to, without a commitment, to come to St. Mary's on a Sunday afternoon. We'll take you downtown to the Riverwalk. We'll get you some Italian food, some cheesecake, which is super good. We also get to do a boat tour of the river. We'll come back to campus. We'll have different activities. We'll have paletas. We'll have a DJ, some games. It's just a really fun ambience. And then that night, you actually stay at a student's residence hall. The next day, you wake up and go to class, just like if you're in college. We'll get you some breakfast, and then we'll get you to go to a specific class depending on the major that you signed up for. And so if you took a psychology class, we'll get you into a psychology class. That way you can see it for yourself, see what it's like. We'll give you a tour of the university once everything's done. Afterwards, by the financial aid office or the admission office to ask us any questions while you're there. But this is one of our the cooler experiences. The best thing out of all is that it's free. So it's a free opportunity for you to come to campus. And also for seniors, it's a free day off of school. So you'll get to come to campus, and that Monday we'll exempt it. So we'll provide you a letter exempting that day for you. And we'll get you a free shirt as well. So it's super awesome event. Definitely recommend it. All right, guys. So that's pretty much all I have for y'all. This is our contact information. Thank you for tuning me in. I really appreciate it. And if you happen to have any questions, you can always email us at the email right there, the uadm@stmarystx.edu, or you can follow us as well in our other social media pages. But thank you very much. Hope y'all have a great day. Take care.